So we have a pregnant cat and we've been showing some discharge. So because it's a street cat, the best option now is going to be to neuter because we don't want to risk a pyometra or other problems. So we don't know how pregnant she is. She's fairly pregnant, but we'll make our incision just behind the umbilicus here. Extend it for a fair amount so we can put a finger in and see how pregnant she is. We're always trying to keep the wounds as small as we can. And then we use some medicine balms just to nibble the fat away. Sorry, so we can catch this fat, nibble it off. And we keep doing that until we can see the linear elbow nice and clearly. So looking there, it's not very obvious. When they're pregnant it can expand quite a lot. So it looks like it's here. So a muscle there, a muscle here, so it must be in the middle here. Cats are usually a lot more forgiving with the linear elbow compared to dogs. I tend to use 2 rat tooths, one to tent it up and then just get it in a position where I want to stab. So really hold it up. If it's nice and high, it means you can do your stab incision like this. Keep the handle parallel to the body and just go in, up. Now there's 2 ways you can extend incision. One is use non-traumatic forceps and basically just lift up, put these in and then just cut down here with the scissors. But I personally prefer to extend it with the scissors without the forceps there. Partly because I feel I can follow the linear elbow more. A little bit this way. Okay, so we've got our initial entry. Now I want to have a feel inside. What I usually do is grab hold of the muscle here, hold it to the side so I can get round the intestines. Basically, I can feel it already. We're going to have to extend more. But if you're looking for a uterus, you basically, one pregnant, non-pregnant one, lift up, slide down to the vertebra, and then just off the vertebra slowly slide off it and start going up the body wall, and you should be able to hook it there. The best area to be looking is here, not up here. And you don't go too far because of the ureters. So it's usually just in front of the bladder, this area here. Okay, so the uterus is fairly big, so we'll extend. I'll extend the scissors. So we'll just do a bit more with the skin. And then a bit more with the muscle. And then let's have another look. You can actually see it now. Be very careful that these aren't bladders sometimes. I've had a few students trying to pull them up and it's a bladder. So what I'll do is palpate and I can feel another fetus and a space and another fetus. So I know I've definitely got a fetus. So we'll give it a whittle. slowly trying to feed it up. Sometimes a little squeeze below helps. That's just coming out. I should have really probably played it safe and extended it. So that's one side out. You can see the ovary there. It's really good for seeing the vessels, all the big meaty vessels that everybody stresses over. So we take both sides out so the abdomen flops down. So it takes the abdomen down. And there we go. Okay, it's good to put a swab over the fat here. To make sure it doesn't dry up in the light. Okay, so we'll probably start on this side here. We want the window obviously this side of the vessels. We want it fairly low so we can get low ligatures. So we're going to make a window, nice and low, extend it up. Big follicle there. Oh, sorry, big cyst. So we'll just place the clamp down here. So that's our first clamp, but we're going to ligate below that. But what we're going to do now, something very different, is we're going to take the uterus out of the way so we can see things better. So this is the window we made and the clamp below the ovary. So we're doing one clamp above. Always do full ratchets, and another here, full ratchet. And now because that's clamped, we can cut between like that. Take a bit of the broad ligament off. And that can nicely sit there. Okay, suture material. So your choice of suture material, just check what's bleeding there. Just a bit of ooze from the broad ligament. Depending on the size of the pedicle, it's fairly small. I'll probably go with 2 metric. This is PGA, polysorb Vicron equivalent. Or polysorb, yeah, it actually is. So we just place the millers under the clamp, so we just pass it under there, and then we go round, keep it under the clamp. So it's just passed round under the clamp. That's what we call our start position. So now we get like this. A finger there, a thumb ready to hold the crosses we make. So we'll make a cross like that, hold it and take it round again. Always keep hold of that cross, just going under again. And then make the second cross like that. So at this stage now we should have 2 pieces of thread here, 2 pieces of thread here. We go through, we grab the tail, pull it through and back the way it was, so it goes back that way. And then what you want to see now is these 2 loops, and there's an twine round it, so when we tighten this, both loops tighten. That's what stops the miller bouncing back, it's because it's both loops. So we'll just nuzzle it down. Basically doing the same as a bitch spay routine. The bitch spay, so try and reduce any confusion. So we've dropped it. And we can just nudge it down a bit more. And the only thing is I've kind of forgot my glasses. Okay, so I'll now rotate it this way. Keep it rotated so when we tie the millers it stays lower down and doesn't try and raise up. See how it's biting there. You want to work very close in with the millers. So you don't want to be out here like this, because you won't get it as tight, and also if you slip you'll rip it off. If you're closer in and you slip, there's less damage caused. Run out of count, I'll just do one more for luck. Okay, so we've done that. Snip the tails. Now avoid the temptation to start pushing around here trying to check it. If you want to check it, you just roll it this way. And you can see there that pinched in effect there. So you can tell it's quite tight. So the way we've done this, I'm just going to take this off, some blood will come out because it's been trapped. And still got a bit of distance from the ovary, so I'm just going to move it a bit close to the ovary. So it's cysts and all. That seems fairly clear. So what we'll do now, just for something different, we'll do a surgeon's. So I tend to just do surgeons on cat ovarian pedicles because they're a lot easier to close. So I just wrapped it around. Now the important thing is wrapped it around is rotate this clamp like that, so when you tie it you not get it caught on the fat or the skin or anything. So again, working close in. And then, because it's the surgeons, it bounces back a bit. So your first one throw is very important to make sure it's tight, because it will then tighten the surgeons more. We'll do our 6 ones. I'll try and remember to show you the hockey ligature in a bit. Lost count, so I'll just go a few more. It's actually good to have a bulky knot, because if you want to come and find it again, you're not going to find the threads, feel the tails, you're going to feel the knot. So there we go. So we'll just take off the ovary. I always use a blade for this, so it's flush. Go in nice and close. Okay, so we're quite happy with those. You can see, nice and tight. You can sometimes have space to hold them, but saying that, if you damage that tissue here, then that ligature could fall off, however good it is, because we've damaged the tissue, so there's no tissue left. So I'm just going to let that one go. It'll just seep back in. So on to our other side. We'll probably remove our plug for a minute. So you can see regards anatomy, it's really good. Ovary, your big vessel there, then it's also the vessel that dilates over here. I've noticed students make windows here. Obviously no, make the window over here. Again, we want it low. So we'll put our plug back in. Make our window with something small and pointy, like the mosquitoes maybe. Make it nice and low so we can drop the ligatures low. Okay, so what I sometimes do is I'll hold the ovary and push down with the third finger to make some room, like that. So that's on. I'll also show you another video as a cheat technique, but we'll keep it like this for now. So we place this clamp well below the ovary. We're now going to place these two clamps, one above the ovary. Sorry, that's below the ovary, one's above. Again, full ratchets. And then cut in between. Okay. Right. So we'll get our 2 metric ready for the millers. I'll get a long one. You can use that elsewhere. You always want a good bit on the millers so you've got something to hold on to. So we just wrap the suture around underneath the clamp, and then we get into our start position. Which is like that. So we make a cross, hold across, send the thread around again. Always keep hold of that cross. Sometimes it's fiddly. There we go. So now do identical cross and hold that. And now, with needle holders, we have the 2 strands there, the 2 strands there. We go through, grab our tail, put it through, and back the way it was, which was that way. So now we've got our 2 loops, which will tighten as we go. Right, so the clamp's in that position. So you can nudge this down a little bit. And rotate this clamp, keep the rotation on. And now we're going to move nice and close in. And just taking our time, it's nice and tight. Always try and push as much suture in your needle holders. Prevent any breakage. So, our millers, 6 ones. Again, just keep working close in. Don't want to be out here, it's dangerous, and also you can't get as tight. It's good practices to place them and tighten them. So for example, I'll place that one and then tighten. So I'm always pushing and pulling in the shoulders. What you want to avoid is anything like this, because it's your shoulders will be strongest. So we've done our first ligature there. Snip the tail. And then because we've got room with the ovary, we're going to raise the clamp. So again we'll get some blood spurting out because it's under pressure. And now we're going to remove this clamp and position it higher. So the ovary is well up here. While clearing it, put the clamp back on. So now, I'll probably do a surgeons now. So wrap round for your surgeons, like that. So ready to go, it's wrapped round. Now, really important to rotate that. Before I got students to rotate this clamp, I was probably getting 10% of the ligatures caught in the muscle off that, so it made a massive difference. Tooth row. And let's show you the hockey. So the hockey is because of the bounce back. So 1, 2, 3, and tighten. And that will bounce back less than a surgeon's. So then we do a tooth row surgeons. And then we go for the ones. So with the bitch spay, using millers is so important on the varying pedicles. But if you're a vet and you're not doing the millers, at least try the hockey. Not to see if you can get your ligatures tighter. But doing millers, it's just a game changer. Okay, so what I'll do is snip our tails off. Take off our ovary. She goes. Now if you ever got a bleeder with one of the pedicles, what you need to do, the best way to find it is you can try and go down to the kidney and find it there, but it's actually better to trace the broad ligament. So for example, we've got the bleeding there, we've just let it go, it's like blood's everywhere, so we'll just hold up the broad ligament. And it's just down there. Just down there. I don't want to disrupt it. But that's what you do, trace the broad ligament. Also, if you ever go into a cat dog that's been bleeding, abdominal bleed, and you're not sure where the bleed's coming from, is look for the jelly clot. Like a jelly clot will form, and that pinpoints the bleeder to that position. We'll tie off this bit of broad ligament because there's a few vessels in it, and so I make a long window so I can clamp high up. Do a double clamp so now I can cut between. Keep using the scissors. So we'll cut between, just pop that there, and then we'll just whack something around that. So place it round. Again, we don't want it right up to the clamp, so just rotate the clamp round like that. There, just got a little bleeder from uterine vessel. Can be very, very fragile. So in she goes. And now let's rearrange our uterus. We'll do the full Monty so I can show you. Okay, so first thing we're going to go with is we're going to go with the surgeons. Reason we use the surgeons first is because it's less likely to cheese wire. So never use crushed beds because occasionally the odd animal, the crushed bed will damage the uterus more than wanted, and it'll start bleeding and becoming a problem. So it's our surgeons. First one, concentrate on that first one. And the next few ones as well need to be tight, because they'll all help to tighten the surgeons more. So that's closed off the uterus. And like I say, we do it first because it's less chance of a cheese wire. Okay, now we're going to do the millers. Stay with the same suture. So just going to put this below it so you can see the formation better. So first wrap your suture around the tissue. Ready. And that's what we call start position. If you've got the start position, you're going to be okay. Fingers there, thumbs ready to hold across. So we make a cross. Keep hold of that cross at all times. Pull the thread around. Make an identical cross and hold it the same. And then as you go this way, you'll have two strands there, two strands there. You go between them, grab the tail, pull the tail through and back the way it was, which is over there. And you've got two loops entwined. So as we tighten it, both the loops tighten at the same time. So we'll go something like that. Now I'm going fairly strong, but probably 95% strength, because just in case it does cut through cheese wire. It's always important for you first, at least your first 2-3 ones are tight. And always in the habit of place, tighten, place, tighten, place, didn't tighten off. Right, so we're going to leave a golden centimetre behind the last ligature. But before we do that, I want to show you the last one, which is the 2-strand transfixer. So, get your round bodied out. Do it. You can click in with this needle. And we've got our 2 strands. So we're going in behind the last one, through the middle of the muscle. And coming out centrally there. So we pull this, we don't want to distort the 2 strands. They're about equal length now, I'd say. Yeah. So now I'll cut this needle out. Yeah. This is when some of you start realising what it is. So when we pull that one, this one moves here. That can go on that side of the surgeons. And then bring the other side round here. So we've got the 2 metric, so if it cuts through the uterus, fine. It's the vessels we want it for. So you can see this transfix must always go last, because if you put it first, it will damage the uterus. And there'll be nothing sort of in front of it, so we get problems from the uterus bleeding, everything else. So the transfixer always goes last, because it focuses on the vessels. So that's one side done. So just keep it with the surgeons. Here's this other clamp, if you're wondering, there's a backstop. So it helps reduce the number of times the suture cuts through my hands. Okay, that'll do it. One more. Tell me say one more this happens. Alright, okay. So, surgeons, millers, 2-strand transfixer, ready to cut. So, we'll use a Rochester clamp. Rochester. We want what we call the golden centimetre behind the last ligatures, so something like that. And then nice solid clamp across the uterus here. And then we'll cut between. Right, I'm not going to open up this. Just had a pussy discharge, so there's got to be something going wrong in there. So I'll just put these here for now. Okay, so I don't expect any bleeders, so I want to check it in this position, and then the forward position, just in case the vessel was trapped over the skin and wasn't bleeding, but then once returned to position it could start. It looks normal there. Okay, so we're now going to close. Going to close it with 3.5 metric catgut. We have to work to certain economies, but also I quite like the knot security, and also gives you the ability to place knots that aren't too tight. Okay. Start at the lower end. And then snug. So 6 on that, 6 ones. Now, what should we do now? Let's do one at the top, and I'll say crochet after that. So again, hold the needle holders, and use 2 pairs of forceps to find where your muscle is. And go top and bottom to start with. Otherwise, it's amazing how much muscle incision can underrun the skin. Oh, fantastic. Okay, let's throw in a couple of crochets. You have to be careful with crochets not to get them too tight, but you obviously want them tight enough. So, do a normal grab through. No. No. Put it through. Grab both, and then you can just go through again. As it forms. Show you another trick as well. So each time we're picking up this muscle, aren't we? One side, side, so. Okay, trim the tail as normal. And then to get to the side, we lift up the muscle like that. That's another way. Let's show you another. I'll show you another shade. So, grab up. It's over here. It's over here. Take it through. And then you need to lift it up. One. Two. The only thing is with cruciates when this happens and you get bits going where they shouldn't do. So now you can sort of see the advantage of the cruciate causes more ground. Okay, so we've just closed up the muscle. Now we've just got the fat and the skin to go. So if you load up your needle holders ready, we're using 3 metric monofilament. And I'm quite a fan of ratties. I feel you can hold things gentler. Only one pair, but never mind. So, grab hold of the fat. And we actually go deep, superficial. And on the other side, let's start this again. Okay, so we finished off the muscle layer, and now we're going to do fat and skin. So we just grab hold of our fat and go deep superficial. And on the other side, superficial deep. Okay, so we've done the muscle layer, we're now going to do the fat layer. So grab hold of the fat on one side, I'll go deep superficial. I often do this to stop myself pulling it all the way through. And then the other side has to be a mirror image. So we're basically going superficial deep. So when we tie it off, the knot's going to be deep. Now we'll get to the tail. Right, the first important thing now is to first pass is deep superficial, otherwise you're just going to drag that knot up again. So by doing that, ensures the knot stays under. And then we just want to do a continuous pattern down. What we're trying to do is avoid the supracuticular fat, otherwise it'll mess up our skin closure. And ideally we just want the fat to cover the muscle ligatures. Too bad. We haven't got a lot of fat to work with, believe it or not. And then we'll just do one more pass, I think, and finish. Try and keep our tail small so we don't lose all the suture. Okay. So we finish the surgeons. Just see what we can do this knot. Might just slide the fat. And then just work our way up the intradermals. And always go back on yourself a bit each time. So it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Nearly there. And stretch it out. Let's grab. If you're doing nice big passes, it's okay to hold the needle at the end. But when you start to go smaller passes, you best work in a bit closer. As we're coming towards the end, we want to make sure we leave that little hole for burial. Nearly there. Okay, one more pass. And because it's the ending, we can take it back maybe this way. Preserve that tiny hole. Okay. Right, Smith Aberdeen. So, we've lost a hole. We can do put a clamp on so we don't lose the end. So, we're left with this loop and this strand here. So we want to grab this, pull it up, and this one becomes a new loop. And then feed down. That's it's nice and tight, deep in. You can put a twist in like that, just to keep it down low. And then grab it, put it up, feed it down. grab it, you loop this is, so feed it down, grab it, becomes a new loop, feed down, grab it, new loop, get the idea. Always like some decent bulky knot. Right, let's do for the last one. Okay, so we've done the last one. Now to finish it, this piece here has to be passed through the loop, like that. But to finish it properly, it has to be passed round, gone in again, so it doesn't fall to pieces. Just lifting it up. And then burial is going to be really wherever the needle passes through easily. So probe around, I always think the hole we left. Okay, so that's the intradermals. Left this little hole at the front, so we've got the needle. I'm just teasing it through there and bringing it out. Lift off a load of skin so it comes out quite a distance, and then pulling on this, but also more importantly pushing on the skin. Yep. Let it pop. That could have been a nicer closure. Okay, I'll snip that off.